Twitch see our stream. Alright, Restream sees us. Does Twitch see us? Does YouTube see us? Hello, Twitch. Oh, camera's not centered. Alright, Twitch sees us, and does YouTube see us? Alright, YouTube sees us as well. Welcome to Code Hangout number 245. Spoiler alert, I'm gonna work on some April Fool's shenanigans because somebody asked me if I had anything planned, and last year I started way too late. And in fact, I was just reviewing last year's stream, and I think, and in fact, it wasn't last year's stream, it was the one before last year. In fact, Code 140 was last year's, no, it was the one from 2024. So we're about 100 in, so if I go back by around 50, so around 190 somewhere here, should be the Dokumas 1000 subscribers, fancy digit. No, yes, 100, around 100. No, what am I saying? 140, yes, plus 50 is 190. So it would have had to be around here. But I don't see anything here, so I must have just given up on it. Maybe the puff of fog was what I was working on. All right, but one of the things I wanted to look into is, did I, in fact, I'm gonna look at this. So this was an update to Feature Fool's Day. Do I have that? Because I remember at one of these years I worked on making this more automatic. Do we still have Feature Fool's Day, or was that moved? Because hair gag is its own thing, so maybe it used to be this. Puzzle events is the 3 in the corner stuff. Seasonal. So seasonal is where I do things like the winter thing. Which, by the way, is that still a thing? It's still a thing. So that was supposed to no longer be running. So let's have a quick look into why the winter season is still running. Because that's not right. Hey Zitamath, how are you? Hey, the Tired Saint, how are you? That's new names that I don't usually see here. How are you, Zitamath? I do have some pending messages with people who need some stuff from me, but actually you are not one of them. But let me know if there's anything I can do. Let's see why we still have the snow cannon, because it's not supposed to do this anymore. Init winter season. Let's just output what's happening in Init winter season here. Yeah, I completely forgot to check about that. So, is active looks at now date. So let's have a look at all these. We want to look at now date and start date and end date. Surely I didn't screw up something that simple. So if I refresh this puzzle, which I just solved, which is from one of the newsletters. Your bug report. I'll be honest, I'm a bit behind. My Discord is a bit busy and I have a lot of things on my mind, so I was kind of scared to go too deep into it. Did you do the bug report on the Discord or via email? Because I'll be entirely honest, I have a lot of email bug reports all the time, so I'll have to kind of go back through them. And did you do it recently? Okay, Tris. Where did you report the bug? Maybe you did it on the other channel, the Sven discussion channel. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I saw that one, but I haven't had time to look into it. I might actually look into it right now. Give me just a quick check to let me take care of this quickly. So it says is active false. So I'm guessing the temp setting didn't work, or I have accidentally had it as a different setting. So the question is, if somebody goes with a clean slate, do they get 3 in the corner snowflakes or 3 in the corner confetti? Okay, they get confetti. So it's my actual setting here. Maybe while I was testing. So I might have to ask the people to let me know which one they have. So let's do that, and it'll be DT2. All right. Let's have a quick look at what you just mentioned. I don't know if this is a hidden URL, and if you don't want me to look at it on stream, but I promise you my streams are not very busy, so the odds of somebody seeing it is actually quite small. So I saw somebody else mention that as well. The problem is, as you can imagine, grid flashing is not something I've put in the code, and it's not something I've ever seen myself. So either some of the browsers broke something, there's some weird something going on, or there's some sort of weird local issue, maybe a graphics driver update or something strange like that. So let's see. We're going to record, but the large puzzle UI is just a weird thing. When you click on the grid, it frequently flashes all the way, though zoomed out and then back in. So I'm guessing, let me make sure I'm in large puzzle UI. This is probably on experimental for good reason. Yeah. So if I zoom in, right? Oh. That's new. You're right. Whoa, you're right. That is not right at all. All right. Issue large puzzle UI flashes zoom levels while selecting sample. All right, I'm gonna look into that. So first thing I'm gonna look into is if we're actually recalibrating, resizing. In other words, because the thing that does that is the resize handler, and the handler resize should only kick in if actually resizing changes. But it could be that resize is called somewhere else for reasons of refreshing things, and that might be the cause. So we'll zoom in. Okay, so we definitely are getting an app resize here. Oh, it's the grid rule stuff. So two things. Why is it doing a resize? It might be because it has to reformat something depending on things changing. And B, the resize shouldn't be flashing. And C, how long has this been an issue? This is odd, because this happens right away. Huh. All right, well, there's something, I don't know, audio in my ears, a little bit weird. Probably because I'm not really sick anymore, but my right ear is blocked and it's really annoying. So, grid rules. I saw grid rules mentioned. So grid rules is the code that manages having different rules for different subgrids. So I'm guessing this puzzle does the grid rules thing. And I'm guessing somewhere in here, we're calling, in line 86 specifically, we're calling resize. Now, why? If grids changed, next grid length, selected grids, selected grid splice, eventually ... next grids, grid rules, selected inner edge, select grids map. Why do we want to do an app resize at this point? Grid to rules HTML, selected grids map, grid rules. Grid rules section. The heck? Puzzle rules. Grid rules section. Okay, so that gets added. Now, the only reason to do a resize here is that this somehow affects the size of this. Which I guess it technically can. All right. Well, it still shouldn't do. It shouldn't do this bounce. So let's figure out why it's doing a weird bounce like that. I mean, I know that I might be doing a reset first. Because one of the problems with CSS is, like, if I want to use CSS to measure something, I need to first... Basically what I do in my layout algorithm is there's certain aspects that I'm relying on CSS to do a standard layout, and then I use the result of that and then change it. And to get the standard layout, I basically have to reset it, which is probably what's causing this flash. Because part of me thinks I should just say, I mean, the layout algorithm is old, and I've tried to rebuild it several times, and it's just a little bit freaking complex, and it does a bunch of things, and it works, and I gave up each time. But in theory, what I really should be doing is I should figure out exactly what are the conditions that change the layout. Like, what are the inputs? And then I should just cache and I say the current layout is according to these inputs. So for example, the size of the window, right? So if I change the size of the window, we want to re-layout, right? And I think if I'm not zoomed, then it probably doesn't flash. Ah, so the flash interferes with the zoom level. Okay, okay. So let's look at the large puzzle UI. And I'm guessing to effect a zoom, I'm doing something that interacts with the layout system. So, and it'll zoom in and out. And it basically does the update transform. And it does the board element style transform. It changes the board element style transform. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna look at the board element style transform before and after. So board element is this. So let's say board element is this. Whoops. Right. And then oops. Let's have a look at the transform. It's not letting me. All right, where's the transform here? Ah, style of transform. Okay. So let's see what it looks like before we're doing this resize. And after. Why is not look on now suddenly? So we have 1 and 2. So if I do this, zoom in, we got a flash. So 1, it's all of this. Then it's all of this afterwards, because it doesn't know about the scaling. All right, and if we do it here without the zoom, it starts with a calc 50% plus 0, calc 50 plus 0, scale 0.25. So it does a calc here. So something is adding this after a resize has happened. So I am suspecting a large puzzle is listening to resize, and then after the resize, it does its own thing. It does an update transform. So we have this, right? And then we'll just output this here. And we'll do also a 1 and a 2. All right. Okay, so first of all, we can obviously skip the pan pos 0. And we're doing a scale to fixed. So, So, I'm thinking, the problem is basically we have two things that interact with each other and they have to wait for each other. So they can't happen at the same time. So one happens, then you see it, and then the next thing happens. Because I don't really want the standard layer algorithm having to know about large puzzle mode. So I want large puzzle mode to work after the fact. The problem is that that's when we get the flash. So the question is, can I do it without changing how that works? I mean, probably the better way of doing it would be that the scale would be like the view is something that globally has global properties and is getting manipulated from the outside. So we don't just directly manipulate the CSS here. Because we have so we start here, let's say we have a scale 3.6. It doesn't know that the scale should be different. So it calculates the layout algorithm figures out the original scale, which resets it. And then it kind of gets back to here. And it doesn't happen fast enough. And I'm curious why it doesn't happen fast enough. Maybe that's something that's changed. Maybe it's a browser update. All right, let me think. I can't. I mean, I can probably skip the grid rule style, the resize here, but it doesn't really fix the problem because other things want to trigger a resize, right? So this will do the same thing. I almost need to grab the resize here because we're triggering a resize event here, but I'm guessing that resize event is happens kind of the frame after. Like if I add timestamps here, which I can't do from here. Oops, I have to do it from here somewhere. Timestamps, right? So if I do this, this happens 1 frame later. So 16 milliseconds after. I don't like my options here. Yeah, I don't know why it's suddenly a problem. And I feel like this is something I would have noticed when I was building this stuff, which was a long time ago. I wouldn't have left it like this, for sure. Now, to be fair, it only happens because the rules change, so we have different grid rules. So it doesn't happen when I'm in the same grid. And I'm guessing this puzzle happens to have a lot of grid rules. And the problem is, I can't even say I don't want to, because I think the reason I'm calling I'm not even entirely sure I need a resize here. But I think the point is that there's a possibility, but basically I think what's happening is that in theory the rules could be not taking up the full space. Like they could be really small, and then changing them would make them take up the full space. So imagine you have basically no rules here. Which is hard to imagine. Let me see if I can simulate that. Where am I going? Where am I writing rules? Get meta pressure. Rules text. Where am I changing the puzzle rules? Actually, let's see what exactly grid rules does, because I think grid rules only updates the lower part. Yeah. Great. That's not what I wanted. Puzzle rule. Rules text. Grid rules. Stream to. Where are the basic rules getting written? Here. So puzzle.get rules true. So imagine if instead of this, we'll do something like short rules. So we just have a one-liner. Huh? What are you talking about? What is it doing? Why is it so... Oh, because... Yeah. So now we have short rules. Yeah, so you saw, basically it gets taller in the layout out. If I don't run the resize, and in fact, let's not run the resize here. Basically what will happen is we'll have a small rules box, and then tall rules get loaded in, and it just pushes this open like this, but it doesn't actually run the resize. Wait a second. Did it just run the resize algorithm? Yeah, because you see it pushed the buttons down. It could actually technically put the buttons below, because you see the layout algorithm would resize it accordingly. But if I don't rerun the layout algorithm, a change to the rules dialog size would just potentially, like, it didn't here change it enough, but it could potentially push that. Now, to be fair, there's no reason really to have a short rules dialog, although that's just visually how it is. So I do kind of have to run the resize, and I don't have a separate resize algorithm. So ideally, the resize algorithm would know about the zoom level. The problem is, I'd like to keep the puzzle UI as a plugin, which means the base code can't be aware of it. I mean, I could potentially add like events like on before resize or something. Because one of the issues I have is, oops. This trigger is async, I believe. So console.log trigger resize. So if I do this here, and then a large puzzle waits for off resize handle resize, unless is handle resize here async or something? Am I doing something silly here? If I do this, and then we do this, okay, well, we're not running. No, wait, no, I didn't save this, did I? Let's see. So we'll zoom in. We do this. We got our flash, right? So we get a raw update transform times 2. Then we get the app resize, trigger resize, and then we get the handle resize. And then raw update transform. So the large puzzle handle resize happens in the same frame, as far as I can tell here. Wait, why is that not getting updated then? Raw update transform handle resize. It's because of this. Oh, because I set it up for, I think this was a performance measure. Basically, I said wait 16 milliseconds in case there's multiple resizes. But instead, what I want to do is I want to do one resize immediately and then wait. Oh, okay. Maybe I can do that with the throttle. Let me just refresh my mind how exactly the throttle function works. Minimum delay, maximum delay. So if I set minimum delay to 0, min delay milliseconds, set timeout min delay milliseconds, min timeout ID max. And I think if the min delay is 0, it still won't fire immediately, right? Clear timeout min timeout ID and func. There's always a minimum of a 0 delay. And then the max delay is 16 milliseconds. That doesn't make any sense at all. Max delay, minimum delay, 0. I'm trying to remember how the throttle function works, because there should be a way of saying fire once immediately and then wait, and then don't fire again until... This is annoying. How does this work? Maximum delay. So we want to run it in min delay time, right? And the moment it runs, it doesn't care about the max delay. So we can't we just throw it? Because, like, I think my throttle, I was trying to make a throttle and debounce, but I don't know if it works that way. Basically, I'm not sure if this throttle function lets me run something immediately and then not run it again for a minimum delay. In this case right now, it won't run at all until the minimum delay is... So it waits at least a minimum delay. Now, if the minimum delay is 0, it'll still wait at least one tick and it'll still flash. So I might actually have to update this. But then the question is, will it do the other thing? Will it stop firing multiple fires? I don't think so, right? Because it's already fired and then it's starting over from scratch. Or is it? Because we're clearing everything when we're calling stop function, which we do every time we're calling handle function. So we're handling it immediately. And max delay milliseconds. If max timeout ID is equal undefined. Min timeout is always getting cleared. So every time it gets called, we're resetting minimum timeout. But we're not resetting maximum timeout. Okay, so what this is supposed to do is to say, okay, let's say the minimum timeout is 16 milliseconds. If you call the function repeatedly within 16 milliseconds, it won't fire until you stop calling it. Then it'll wait 6 milliseconds and then it'll fire. Except when you reach maximum timeout. So this is a proper throttle function. What we really want is a debounce, which works a little different. Oh, yeah, don't worry, don't worry. And I feel like this is something I did, yeah, as a performance improvement. Because basically, it would just call, like, it might call it many, many, many times, even though it does only one resize. Like, you don't want to call this 50 times per frame, right? But I think for now, I could literally just skip it completely. Like, if I just do this... like, that'll fix the problem, right? Yeah, you see, it does the resize, but it doesn't do the flash. Because now the resize happens in the same frame. But I think one of the problems was that this could happen really frequently. And we didn't want to run this often. Ah. Okay, so we do want to throttle this, but we don't want to call the throttled version from the resize, because the resize should already be throttled. Like, this shouldn't happen more than once per frame. Yeah, you see that happens more than 60 milliseconds apart. So maybe what I can do is I can leave the throttling in here, but then call the immediate version, which I believe is available under force. So I should be able to just say update transform dot force from inside handle, and then other update transform calls will still be throttled. So if I now zoom in, then do this. So that happened without flashing. But if I do this, I might still get the throttled version. And if I throttle it more, i.e., let's say we're gonna do it at 20 FPS. Huh? Wait, what? Huh? Oh, is this not bound? Oh, is this not bound correctly? Oh, this doesn't bind correctly. I don't think I've ever used this before. Handle func. Force returns this. Current this. Last this. Force func. I suspect why is last this in here? Ouch. Wait, what? Force func gets called from handle resize. So the this in force func so handle resize right, is this. We have this here. Then we're calling it. Shouldn't that be bound correctly? Do we have a good last this reference here? Feature large puzzle. And then it's the force function is called in the context of the parent. So we don't want to assign last this here. The problem is it'll break if we don't if it's called before anything else. What if we do this? And it'll still break. Because at some point it'll be undefined. But wait a second, why would it be undefined? Do I not get access to the parent here? No, I do not. Ah, my brain. So the this of the calling context doesn't get passed through as a prop. Wait, 1 second. I gotta look at this from scratch. So we have a this here. So let's make a function, right? Local this. Right. And we're gonna call local this here. Console.log local this, right? So if I run that, the local this is the window, because it's a function, right? So we want to make a context. So we're going to say context, right? And then context dot local this equals local this. And then if we call these, whoops, these two, we get different thises. Right. Now, if we have another function here, local this too, and then here we're going to do return local this too, right? And we'll do this, we'll get it local this too, and we're executing it now. So we're assigning the return value. Context.local this is not a function. What is it then? Ah, wait, no, we want to just return the function here. Right. So window local this too. If I only execute this, what happens? It executes local this first, fair enough. But here it has the context of this. Right. Now, local this 2 dot this 3 equals function this 3. Actually, let's do local this 3. We'll do this Now, and I think this is where we get the problem, right? We're calling local this, and if we call local this dot this 3, what happens? Local this 3 has as its context local this 2. Yeah, which isn't the same as this, exactly. So that's the problem. So this gets this as its context, which is actually this, rather than the same context that this has. Is there a way of not having that problem? Like, if I can do this, like bind this, for example, right? The problem is I don't want it to be in this context. I want to be in the context that it gets called under. You see? Yeah, exactly. Because now it does this. Oh, that's weird and annoying. And I'm not sure I can get around that. And that's what's breaking us at the moment. So instead of using the force function the way it's meant to be used, we could just not use it and we'll just call raw directly. So the force doesn't work. Good that I've never tried to use it. So now we can zoom in. We can do this. It does the correct resize. Did it do a resize? Wait, did it do the resize? Yeah, this became smaller. We can drag around. It's really stuttery though. Because it now does the raw update transform. Wait, why does it do a raw transform on handle resize? Why is it so stuttery? No, this is because of this, right? So I zoom in, select. We don't get flashing. We move smoothly. I can drag at 60 FPS. All right, I think that'll do it. Let's get rid of the console spam. I'm not gonna touch this for now, but this is broken. Fix me. This is broken here. So we can't rely on this over there. Let us make sure we don't have any other weird logs in here. I think we don't need to touch this actually. We have a change there, and this is the other thing we're looking at. We don't need that anymore. All right. So, okay, we have the app trigger and the trigger resize. We can do that. And finally, 4420. Right. It is a little sluggish. Question is it sluggish like it was sluggish already? Or is it newly sluggish? Because I think one of the problems is it's doing a resize with every pan. Actually, no, it doesn't. I don't think it does. Yeah, the resize only happens when the grid rule subrules switch. Sector 2. Why is this not updating? Sector 1, Sector 6. 3, 6. Why are there multiple? Oh, because it's getting all of the selections in. Okay. Yeah. Like if it gets all the rules of every sector you're selecting. So if you select across multiple, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason this is not production grade, because it just isn't. All right, I think we can undo this as well. That's just a fix me note. Now, I can't really test this super well because, well, I'd have to solve this puzzle, and I'm guessing this is a monster puzzle to solve. Super Sudokoid, final transmission by the M. I wouldn't even know where to start. All right, but at least I think this should fix the flashing. So, I'm gonna go in here and I'm just gonna remove my... Oh, no, wait, we confirmed this, so I can just delete that. All right, I think we're just gonna push this as an update to beta, and then you can, at least you can start recording on beta if you want. Let me just run that as well. 1 second, I was just doing a backup and hadn't done a backup in a while. I think I'm gonna do a minor, not a patch, because we're not patching the current minor, so it doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Fix flashing issue in large puzzle UI plus grid rules. I haven't done a push from beta to production in a while either. But let's do a deploy. If I recall how to do this, I'm getting rusty. I'm doing so many other things. It's a full-time job to just keep up. Wait. Deploy beta, yeah. I'm not going crazy, right? Oh. Okay, here we go. So apologies if this is not on production right away. Do you know how it is? Always scared about breaking things, okay. So that seems to function. And do we have the right version? 0.610. Yeah. All right. Fix should be deployed on a beta. Thanks for the report. Appreciate it. Let me do a test play of today's gas. Hey, Tobes, welcome back. Toby just returned from his walkies, just to make sure we have a small. Hey, Toby, come. Hey, Poochie, come. Hey, Tosh, come. Okay, that's all I'm getting, huh? That's all I'm getting. Yeah, he's upset with me because he was home all day and I was not giving him enough attention. I fully admit that. All right, so beta today by Philip Newman. A2 XV pairs. There's some to 5, some to 10. No negative strengths. Okay, so I guess we know this is a 9. That's a 4. That's a 1. I guess we know all of these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not on 4. That's not a 1. So we got this. So these are 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, and oh no, 2. Sorry, 8 and nope, 7. So that can't be a 2 because that could be an 8. Can't be a 1. Can be a 4. Can be a 1. Can be a 4. So that's 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, and that's 7, 8, 9. All right. That's 2, 8, and then that's 7, 6. Like that. That's not a 2. That's not a 3. That's not a 7, and that's not an 8. That can be a 9, that can be a 4, that can be a 1, so that's 6, 7, 8. And then this is 7, 8, 9. This is 6, 8, 9, and this is 9, 6, 7. All right. And that's just everything. Except that's not a 3 and that's not a 7. All right, that's not a 4, not a 9, not a 4, not 1, 4, and not a 6 and a 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these is a 5. All right, let's see. Can we pin down our 5s yet? No. 1, 1. Got a 1 here. Got a 3 here. And done like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. I know there's a 3 here. Don't know if there's a 4 there. We know there's a 2 here. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, that can be a 9. That can be a 6. So it's 2, 8, or 3, 7. 2, 8, or 3, 7. Oh, okay. Oh. And let's see. No, the large puzzle thing, I do want to improve it, especially if there's more large puzzles coming down the line, and I know that Sudokovania 2 is in the works, and I didn't know about this. So if people tell me about nice large puzzles that are coming up, then I can get a better idea, because obviously I can't prioritize it for 1 or 2 puzzles, but if there's like 5 or 10 even, and I bet there's some that I've never even heard of, then I definitely want those to work well. And I love the genre, so you know, let me know. What am I missing here? This is a review. Okay, A2. I feel like the A2 is some sort of hint that I should be taking advantage of. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is related to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 7, 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. Where would the 6 go? I don't know. I don't know yet. We will know shortly, for sure. 3, 4. If this is a 2, 3, then that's a 4 and that's a 1. Yeah, I don't think I can limit that in any way. All right. Okay. There's no, these V's don't talk to each other at all. So we know there's a 1 here, which means there's a 4 here. 4 here, I don't know if that's useful. Does it mean there's a 4 here? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Do we have to have a 6 in one of these? This is a 3. Yeah, I think so, because if this is a 3, that's a 4, and otherwise that's a 4. So there's a 6 in one of these. But that doesn't actually do much else. Ah, it puts a 6 over here. Which is interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 9. No 9 here. 9 here. 4, 5, 8 with a 4 here. Okay, that's something. That's something. 3, 4, 9 here. 6 is there. 4 here or here, which means 1 here or here, which we also kind of can see. 9 here or here. 5, 8, 9. 5, 8, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No 9. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 here. Ah, not a 6. 5, 7, 8. 5, 7, 8. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Huh, okay. It did something, but it didn't do as much as I'd hoped. Thought it was a clever deduction. Well, it was just basic. Basic Sudoku. Alright, let's see. Ones. Ones. Fours. That's not a 4. 4 fours here or here. Okay. 3s. No. 9s. 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 5s. We know there's no 5s on X's and V's. X's and Y's. No, X and V's. My brain is not cooperating. 5 here or here. No, we don't have any X-wings or anything like that. 7. Obviously no 7s here. No 7 there. No 7s here. No 7 there. No 7 there. Nope, not useful. No 8s. No 8s. Do we have to have an 8 in one of these? I don't think so. So we can have a 1 here and a 2 here, and then the 8 would be here. 2, 3, 1, 4. Yeah, we don't necessarily have to have an 8 there. 9s. Even we don't even have to have a 9 here. 9 could be here or here as well. Alright. This X feels very deliberate. But it's looking at a 1, 2, or 6, 9, so it's not really doing much. And a cross, I don't think it's doing anything on the crossways. 1, 6. This 1, 6, 6, 9. It's 1, 6. Like, something there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's a freaking naked single. Okay. Which means there's a 5 here. Maybe that's what I was supposed to be looking at this whole time. No 5s here. 5 here. Here. Okay. Not even gonna check. Normally I like to check because I don't want to waste my time. But now I'm actually curious to just play it out. Did the 5 do anything else? Still feel like something with these 1, 6s because they are related to the 1, 4, 6, 9 pairs here. It's just they're not aligned correctly. Like, for example, could this be a 1, 9? Then this would be a 6, and this would be a 4. Could this be a 4, 6? No, it couldn't be a 4, 6, because then both of these have to be 1. So that can be a 6, that can be a 4, that can be a 1, that can be a 9. Does that do something by eliminating a 9 from there? No, not really. Not really. Really. This being a 2, 4, does that do anything? 4, 6, 2, 4. 2, 2, 3, or 1, 4. 2, 3, or 1, 4. 2, 3. Ah, can this be a 1, 4? Then this would be a 6, 9. No, this cannot be a 1, 4. So that's a 3, 2. That's an 8. That's a 7. All right, 2, 8, 7, 3, 6, 7. 7, 3, 2, 8. 4, 9. That's a 6, 4, 1, 9. All right. 4, 9. 9, 1. Now this can't be a 1, 6. I mean a 4, 6. Right. And 1, 9. 8 here. 5, 9, 8 here. 7. And 2, 8. Okay. All right. I think we are getting somewhere. 1, 6, 9. And that's 1, 4, 9. The 4 over here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. 7, 8. And 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 2, 5, 3, 2. All right. 1, 2, 3, 8. This is a 9. 1, 9, 1, 6, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And 3 and 6. All right, 1, 2, 3, 9. There we go. All right. Well, we now know it isn't gonna blow up and burst into flames with that code. And I think we've done a clean push already. So let's go back to our spoilers. And obviously the spoilers are about April Fools. Now, I did work towards an April Fool's something something, so that's done, last year, but then I ended up running out of time, and I don't remember if I even looked into doing it, but I had a concept of an idea, and I'm gonna try to think about it quickly now without talking it all out to see if I can recapture the essence of what I had thought of last year. Basically, the idea was that I wanted to create a fake, April Fools, a fake AI hint system where you basically had an AI hint button, using the like sparkly AI icon. And it would basically just have a very simple logic to find something very bad, and then it'll just sort of like give you bad advice, basically, like obviously bad advice. And I remember I had some really good ideas, but I don't remember if I'd written those. Ooh, here it is, 201. AI self-assistant for April Fools. Yeah. Let's have a look at that. I'm just gonna go find that live stream. So that was 201. 201. And 202 apparently. Whoops. I want to full screen that. It says waiting for. I'm connected. Let's see. I just want to see if did I feel like I've looked into the icons already, and B, did I commit any code maybe under a branch, or did I just bang my head against a silly? Yes. No, I did stuff. I have like some preliminary dialogues and stuff. So let's see if I can find where this code might have ended up. If I did a commit somewhere. So I got actually somewhat into it. Yeah. Okay. So can I feature assistant? So there's a feature assistant. So I'm guessing it must have ended up as a... Oh, this was also ahead of... It must have ended up... Okay, this has got to be either in a Git stash. Ooh, I don't want to make a mistake. Git stash list. Because I don't want to create a stash called ls or even list. Okay, so it's not in a Git stash. Is it in a branch? 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It's not just sitting here, is it? No. Did I maybe just pull the file out then? So I've been known to do that as well, just to copy the files and like physically place them somewhere else. And I might have done that after the live stream. Do we have the next? So this was 201. Why 201-2? That's so weird. Why is it -2? Oh, because I had started over here. So I did 2 streams about it. It's even more embarrassing, but I remember not managing to get it done. So I spent 2 streams working on it. Yeah, I'd love to continue this and finish it. But I don't want to start it over if I've done this much work already. Let's have a look. If we can find... what is it called? Feature AI Assistant, right? Feature-AI Assistant. Can I not search all commits? AI Assistant. How do you spell that? AI Assistant. AI Assistant. Like AI ass. AI Assistant. I'm gonna have a quick look at my places where I might put files that I just want to save for later. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's in a place called Pending Features. Ooh. Custom pad. What's that? All right, now I'm getting truly sidetracked. What's custom pad? Start custom pad in styles. This might be really old. 2024. Not crazy old by Sudoku Pad standards. Not much in here though. Not enough to even tell what it was supposed to do. Styles, custom pad, start custom pad. Maybe something for style customizations? I don't know. This setting. Why would that be here? Okay. But we do have this. Ah, okay, let's see if that still works if I just bring it in. In theory, I should be able to just copy it over here and load it up. So it should live in here now. And then we should be able to just load it on up. Right, and if I reload this now, do we get a button? I don't even remember. It's only been a year and I completely blank on exactly what I did back then. Oh wow, that took a while. Okay, I don't see a button. How did I trigger it? Ah, maybe it's a setting I need to enable. Under experimental. Try AI assistant. Hey. Error, select requires cell. Okay. Handle button, AI assistant, line 74. I mean, some things fundamentally, Sudoku hasn't changed in the last year or so. Like lots of tweaks and stuff, but I don't think any infrastructural things have changed. So the question is, what is it trying to do and why is that breaking? Get action. Get action. Get action. Error select requires cells. Deselect select target cell. So app.deselect, is that where we're dying? No, we're dying on select, which comes 134 here. Target cell is empty. Why do we get a empty target cell? So we have, let's label these. Oops. Cells normal. So I'm guessing that's the empty array, and that's basically what's happening, right? So we have that empty array. Ah, maybe because it's filled in. So if I use a different, whoops, if I use a different puzzle. Yeah, I think I can use missing deck puzzles here. So if I do this, and I say AI solver, oh, okay. This is how far we got. So I'm happy to have chosen me to help you out today. This is an exclusive preview, only available today, April 1st. Warning, this AI system may spoil some parts of the puzzle. Let's have some fun. Okay. Let me try something. It's much tougher than I expected. So I have this UI at the top, which I remember, like, I wanted to kind of create a place where I can have a conversation. We might have to squeeze it into the layout. I'm not planning to finish it, like, continue working on this today, I'll be honest. I'm just, like, rediscovering. We found where it is. That's great. I got further along than I remembered, so that's great. So we have cells normal, target cells choices. So do press digit target val. Where did the target val come from? It did the 4. Why? Randomly. Okay, so because I don't, I'm pretty sure I didn't finish it. Otherwise, I would have probably implemented. I was just doing something, right? And then we have a couple of words and phrases and stuff. Things like that. Oh, that's not right at all. That's tougher than expected. Neutral here. I hope that helps you onwards. Pretty colors. So I think the idea was that it'll just randomly do something. So the target val is random. The target cell is also random. But cells normal are cells that, okay, cells normal are cells that can receive a digit. And then it picks a random cell. Then it does a true prestigious target val. But where does this text get added? So we did the get action. This dot get text. Get text is AI text fails. Yeah, I'm also thinking it's gotta be more visual. Like I'm right now, like I'm thinking like multiple digits sort of flashing and like, or even the selection kind of moving around. Kind of, I almost want to simulate a person who's not a good Sudoku player and doesn't know the solution, but just thinking, like click, click, no, like I always wanted it to kind of pretend play the puzzle a little like a human would, with delays and like selecting a few cells. I think I definitely need to write it up a little bit in more detail how exactly I want that to work. Let me see, did I make any notes last year? No, which is a pity. I probably should review that stream. Let's make some notes this year so we don't have the same make the same mistakes. So continue last year's work in feature dash AI assist. Now I really feel like I had more of an idea of how I wanted it to work last year, and now it's like I have a rough idea, but this code was like thrown together as a bit of like a quick sort of proof of concept of functionality, not so much towards the thing that it was meant to be. Because I remember thinking about like I'm trying to remember if I wanted it to actually intelligently look at least somewhat at real puzzle things or the built-in solution or something, because I could say, okay, 1 out of 10 it gives you a real digit, you know, and then 9 out of 10 does the wrong thing. What I probably want to do is I want it to act dumbly but then react smartly, right? So I don't want it to give you a solution or actually solve the puzzle or give you real hints or anything like that. You know, randomly picking something, maybe not completely random, maybe something based on the board state somewhat, like have a few choices. Like if the board is empty, maybe it'll do a snarky remark, hey, you haven't tried anything yet, I guess we can just throw a digit in the middle or something. Otherwise, maybe something near where digits are, or maybe replacing pencil marks or something, like continuing where the user plays, so it feels somewhat smart, but it's still kind of basically random. Just it randomly selects in an area which kind of almost sort of makes sense. Now I don't know if it like placing a digit is a very easy thing to do, and I might in principle do that, but in practice I might do it via some sort of animation where over a couple of steps maybe it places some pencil marks and eventually narrows it. Maybe it'll place 5 random pencil marks, then deletes them one by one until one remains, then it puts that digit in, then it runs the check, and then it backs up and it's like, oops, that wasn't it, right? That kind of thing, right? So for example, right now it doesn't show that as wrong. So I think we might want to have to enable show errors or whatever. Shows a conflict checker on. Do you need some rules? So it doesn't mark the digit wrong. It does it only like this. So it doesn't, okay, so it doesn't redden the digit if it's wrong, even if it's a conflict. I have to remember that. And the UI needs to be somewhere where it doesn't overlap the puzzle. So maybe over here. And it just kind of comes like, because I think there's always some space above the rules. The rules never go all the way to the top. I don't know actually. Why are because the rules come from the bottom, right? Like it aligns with the bottom of the puzzle. But they scale with the puzzle as well. But obviously that space isn't available on mobile and stuff. And I'd like this joke to at least be available to others. All right. So let's make some notes of what we've just said. So hinter should or when asked for a hint, comma, find legitimate-ish location. Animate towards progress, comma, and we're just gonna make some select some cells as if moving across the board towards destination, as if homing in towards destination. Pencil mark some options, then reduce until 1 digit remains. Enter digit. And I don't know if I should actually even check if it's correct or not, like maybe like deliberately disallow correct digits. Hey, Math Guy 12, sorry, I did not see your chat on. I was looking at the YouTube one. I was not looking at my shared chat. Sorry about that. How long ago was this? 5 minutes ago. If you had a chance to think about the solve timer triggered cosmetic clues fog I mentioned a few weeks ago in Discord, if not, no worries. I've just been working on a puzzle. I would love to use it on. Yeah. So I have not, and I'm currently pretty overloaded with a whole bunch of things. So that's the sort of thing that's going to be quite a big piece of work. So it's not like a thing I can do in like a live stream in a few hours. And I definitely would need to see more sort of applications and things like that, and maybe see if we can substitute some of the complexity with other things that are already possible, etc. And I'll be honest, mentally, I'm not currently in a feature building mode. In fact, I'm struggling just to get my brain back into the for this April Fool's, but I'd like to not miss April Fool's this year because I missed it last year. But I definitely want to work on something like this, but it's not something that I can promise would happen quickly enough. So if you're working on a puzzle that you want to publish in the next couple of weeks, this might not be the method to do it, unless we can break it down towards maybe a few smaller steps, you know, like maybe we can do something simpler first rather than a very complex system. But yeah, I definitely would want to see a write-up as well of how it works, because right now I don't even know what I'm afraid just the message that you sent was probably not going to be enough for me to figure it out. Let me see if I can find the message. I think it was via email, right? I'll have to look into it off stream. All right, let's see. Has work some options. Then reduce until 1 digit remains. Enter digit. And I don't know if maybe we'll do something like fake celebrate, and maybe this we could use as an excuse to like experiment with some. Well, we have a method of doing confetti on a cell, right? Because I know this is part of the streaming tools. Let's have a look how the stream tools manage that. This is something I can trigger programmatically. So we have marked cell. What does it expect? Cell. So in theory, right, I should be able to do framework dot features dot stream tool dot mark cell row 1 call 1. Oh, that's the marks. I thought it was using confetti. Interesting. That's all right. So I thought there was a confetti thing. Mark cell. If Wait, so this is Mark Cell. Why do we not have the confetti thing? Do I need to... Excuse me. Enable the stream tool. If I do... Whoops. If I do this again... No. No. Confetti parent. Mark Cell. I just want to see if I can reuse that effect. So that would be a... Ah, in fact, it said something about effect container. This is so slow at the moment. Effect confetti is not a constructor. Effect confetti. Feature puzzle events. I don't know. Puzzle events. Feature puzzle events. Dot. Effect confetti. Okay. Feature puzzle event. So let's do this. I'm guessing effect confetti. Effect confetti undefined. That is weird. Probably I've updated it to a more modern format and I did it wrong. Feature puzzle events only after init. Oh, shoot. So we kind of want to move that out of here and move it in here. So if I now execute Mark Cell, okay. Canary properties of undefined. Get bounding client rect. Stream tool line 50. Line 50. No, that doesn't make any sense. Mark Cell. Line. That's not in line 50. That's line 600 something. Cell.lm. Ah, okay, so we do actually need a cell. Okay. So framework dot puzzle no dot app dot puzzle dot cells 1. Okay. So now if I do mark cell and do this. Hey, okay. All right. And if I do cell 40 somewhere in the middle of the puzzle. So we do have some confetti. It looks a bit weird, a little bit semi-broken, but usable. Okay. Yeah, probably Discord is a good place because I'll have a record there. But I need to capture it and put it somewhere. That's probably best up to me. Let's see. So we could do this. Can we we just have a singular marked cell. So it does two things, right? It does the little path selection highlight, and then it does the confetti effect. Oops. So we definitely need to do that, otherwise it won't work. That's fine. And I think I'm just going to push that, actually. Oops. Fix confetti on mark cell effect. We're not even going to version that. That's just a small thing here. So fake celebrate, and then notice error and apologize. Write messages along the animations. So we wanna have the assistant sort of talk to you, but I want it to be sensible. Like, what it says sounds right, but I don't want it to, you know, I don't want to make API calls to ChatGPT, basically. So it needs to be very simple phrases that we can just sort of throw in there. So we have, let me try something. So that's just hard-coded at the moment. Okay. And if I press that, this is so much tougher than I expected. And if I do this, uh-oh, that's not right at all. Yeah. So basically, instead of doing it like that, we want to have like, okay, let me try something, right? Maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. So, so let's make a little example. Maybe let me keep it simple. So something like that, right? So it's like, and we'll just have a couple of different versions, maybe 2 or 3 phrases that I can pick from, a short list, you know, not too hard to build. Now, so let's try something, maybe here, not quite. And maybe the steps aren't precise, you know, maybe we can like do 1 or 2 steps, maybe a bit longer, maybe a bit shorter, you know, just a little bit variability to make it feel interesting. So it's not just a thing that people will do once and then it's stupid, right? Something that's kind of cute, and people might try a couple of different options just to see what it says, right? Just to get all the options, sort of thing. And I have 2 more live streams, so I could have one live stream kind of building the structure, and then one live stream kind of coming up with a bunch of phrases and methods and all this sort of thing. And maybe we can come up with another, maybe 2 or 3 different kinds of things it does. You know, maybe there'll be one where it just highlights rows and columns and just colors a bunch of stuff in. Maybe one where it slowly checkerboards the whole board and then just erases it all, you know. Or one where it draws the Fistomophil, you know. So like, yeah. Create several types of actions. So, find digit action. So this, we'll call this the find digit action, right? And then we can do a color action. Perhaps color cells in a few steps come up perhaps randomly or the stomach ring. So maybe we'll do this. One randomly. Stomachful ring. 3 checkerboard pattern. So just like a couple of is that how you spell Festomaphole? That doesn't feel right. Yeah, no, that's how you spell it. Cool. So it'll be interesting to just have like a few patterns, something that people might recognize, you know. I don't know if it'll be feasible to do it, maybe find lines and color along lines and stuff. You know, it's doable, but it might not be worth the effort. I don't want to do too many different things either. I don't want to put too much effort in something when I could put that effort towards building features. But, you know, just enough to make it interesting. So we have color action, find digit action, and then perhaps, I don't know. Ah, yeah. How about pen tool action, draw one of a few pre-made figures. You know, maybe it'll draw a little bunny rabbit or something, right? Like with a pen tool. Pen tool action. Draw random squiggles. I'm trying to think. Could I decode? Like, could I use emojis and pull data out of emojis and then draw? You know, I don't think so. I might just pre-prepare a couple of figures, like little hearts or stars or something, you know, and let it just draw a couple of things like that. And it'll be just one of the 3 things it'll do. It might be like a little picture with like a sunset and a cloud or stick figures in a house or something, and maybe it'll talk to itself. Have AI talk to itself wistfully. You know, maybe it'll draw some stick figures and it's like, oh, I remember when mom and dad used to visit the beach house or whatever, right? I don't know, something silly. But maybe, you know, a little thought-provoking as well. All right, guys, I think I'm happy with having found the file, having gotten the basics operational, figuring out that little bug, and making a little bit of a plan for next time. So I think I'm going to call it here now because I'm getting super tired. And I've had a long, tiring week, and I have still so much to do. So I'm going to try to sleep relatively early today and get an early start tomorrow. All right, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Let me see if my chat still works. And sorry if I haven't been super present. I've been dealing with a lot of things, but I'm definitely still chugging away. And I followed the discussion about Sakana AI. I'm talking to a lawyer about doing some protective language on the website somewhere. And I appreciate the increased support that people have sent my way. Really do. It's the reason I still keep going. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out. Don't hesitate to send me an email or talk to me on the Discord. Email is sven@svencodes.com. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. And